Hello, I am going to be reading two famous poems from the textbook Ways Characters Shape Stories. This is from Benchmark Education. I'm going to go ahead and turn to page 6. And I will then zoom in using my controls on the right. So the first thing that I want to talk about is right here underneath the title. Two famous poems. These poems are ballads, long rhyming poems that tell a story. So over here on the right in my tools, I know you can't see me going into my toolbox, but I'm going to highlight ballads, long rhyming poems that tell a story. So I will be reading the Ballad of John Henry. And this is by an anonymous author. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down so you can see the illustrations that go with this part of the story. When John Henry was a little baby, just a-sittin' on his mama's knee, he said, "The Big Bend Tunnel on that C&O road, gonna be the death of me, gonna be the death of me." So let's look at this first stanza. When John Henry was a little baby, just a-sittin' on his mama's knee, he said, "That Big Bend Tunnel on that C&O road." We do not know what this is, right? So we're going to need to kind of underline this and pay attention to what we think this could be. Okay, and I'm going to kind of draw like a question mark over here. What is that? Gonna be the death of me. Gonna be the death of me. "Well," John Henry said to the captain, "I'm gonna take a little trip downtown. Get me a 30-pound hammer with that 9-foot handle. I'll beat your steam drill down. I'll beat your steam drill down." So the author keeps repeating themselves at the end of the stanza. Lines 4 and 5, notice it's numbering the lines here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So lines 4 and 5 are repeated, and 9 and 10 are repeated in the second stanza, the last two lines in each stanza. John Henry said to the captain, "I'm going to take a little trip downtown. Give me a 30-pound hammer." Let's get our underline here again. 30-pound hammer with that 9-foot handle. And look what he's holding down here. So this must be John Henry with this big 9-foot handle and a 30-pound hammer. He's much bigger than these other men, it looks like, in this illustration. "I'll beat your steam drill down." What's a steam drill? I don't know what that is either. We're going to have to read and see if we can figure this out by the illustrations or by what it's saying in the story. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up to this second page here. And it's showing, again, a picture of what looks like John Henry and his big 30-pound hammer, and a picture of something else. I wonder if this could be the steam drill. "I'm going to take a little trip downtown. Give me my 30-pound hammer with a 9-foot handle. I'll beat your steam drill down." I wonder if he's trying to beat the steam drill going downtown. Well, John Henry hammered on that mountain till his hammer was striking fire. And the very last words that I heard that man say was, "Cool drink of water 'fore I die. cool drink of water 'fore I die. I'm going to go ahead and grab my pen. Let's look again here at this hammer while we're reading. And John Henry hammered on that mountain till his John Henry hammered on that mountain till his hammer was striking fire. Look at that. And the very last words that I heard that man say was, so who is that man? Maybe this man over here on the steam drill. Cool drink of water 'fore I die. And again, they repeated lines 14 and 15. The last two lines of each stanza are repeated. Cool drink of water 'fore I die. And I'm going to grab my highlighter because that is new. What does this mean? Cool drink of water 'fore I die. I think I'm going to make an inference here. I'm going to make a guess. And I'll try to put it over here in the margin where you can see. Maybe the apostrophe F-O-R-E is really the word before. This apostrophe is in place of the B-E. So when we talk, notice it's in quotations here. That's very important. So when someone's talking, we don't always speak like we do when we are writing. So a cool drink of water 'fore I die is really, this man is saying, John Henry, you're working very hard. You better drink a cool drink of water before you die. Let's go ahead and keep reading to see what happens. Well, they carried him down to the graveyard, and they buried him in the sand, and every locomotive came a-roaring on by. People cried, "There's lies a steel-driving man. There lies a steel-driving man. There lies a steel-driving man." So John Henry, I don't think he stopped working. They carried him down to the graveyard, and they buried him in the sand. What do you think that part means? And every locomotive. There's a couple new words here. Grab my highlighter. Locomotive. What is locomotive? And a locomotive is a train. And every locomotive came a-roaring on by. People cried, "There lies a steel-driving man. There lies a steel-driving man." So he was able to drive the steel nails into the railroad faster than this steam drill. John Henry was the drill, right? So the Ballad of John Henry, this long rhyming poem that told a story, this Ballad of John Henry is talking about a man who built a railroad. Notice right here again, the apostrophe before road. Railroad, the Big Bend Tunnel on that C&O railroad. If I were to read this over again, it would make a little bit more sense. Let's go ahead and turn to the next page. And we are going to focus on the story on the left-hand side on page 8 before my time runs out here. Excuse me. There we go. So now this is From the Village Blacksmith by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Under a spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands. What is a smithy? I'm gonna highlight that. The smith, a mighty man is he, with large and sinewy hands. I'm not sure what that means either. And the muscles of his brawny arms. Brawny. Let's get my pen here. I think there's something important. The muscles of his brawny arms. Large and sinewy hands. So something about his arms, something about his hands. And he is called a smith, the village blacksmith. So what do we think blacksmith means? A blacksmith is someone who works with their hands. And the most important thing, let's go ahead and make this note, a blacksmith is a person who makes things from iron by hand. And make my text box a little bit bigger. A blacksmith is a person who makes things from iron by hand. So this is iron right here. Iron is this black metal. So The Village Blacksmith by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Under a spreading chestnut tree, the village smithy stands. The smith, a mighty man is he, with large and sinewy hands, and the muscles of his brawny arms are strong as iron bands. So notice iron again. Are as strong as iron bands. Iron, that black metal, is very hard. His hair is crisp and black and long. His face is like the tan. Wonder what that means. We'll highlight that for later. His brow is wet with honest sweat. He earns whate'er he can. Oh my goodness, look at that apostrophe again. So what word do we think this really is? Whate'er is not really a word, right? So think about the apostrophe is taking away a letter. So W-H-A-T-E apostrophe E-R is whatever. He earns whatever he can and looks the whole world in the face, for he owes not any man. Week in, week out, from morn till night, you can hear his bellows. And there's a number 1 there. Number 1, bellows. Okay? A tool that draws in air and then blows it out. You can hear his bellows blow. You can hear him swing his heavy sledge with measured beat and slow, like a sexton ringing the village bell when the evening sun is low. Like a sexton ringing the bell. So a sexton must be somebody that rings a bell, right? Think about how this poem, this ballad about the village blacksmith, is similar or different than this ballad of John Henry. Reread the ballads if needed.